Kansas City, 1.5 point favorite over the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 59. The total is 49.5. The money line, since the number is so short, I do want to give that as an option. Right now, it's anywhere minus 125 to minus 130. I bet this as soon as it opened at Kansas City minus 1.5 and Kansas City on the money line at minus 120. Simon, I'm making Kansas City on the money line my exact decision.
Already. Diving
Already.
right in.
Well, it's available. Last week you beat me to the punch, so I felt like I had to get on it right away.
Yeah, I don't hate it, obviously. It's been interesting, the movement this week, and that's what I can't wait to dive into, because we can do like a mini sharp call here, just about the early reads on, what I'm hearing and what guys are saying. And we talked Sunday night, the line was moving to 2. I thought we'd be sitting here, it'd be 2.5. I don't know about you.
I did. I'm actually shocked. It's not a 2 right now.
Yeah. And I told you the hesitation to me was going to be everyone like me that runs a model. I would be shocked if they didn't have the Eagles as a small favorite. And, coming into that matchup last week, I had the Chiefs as a favorite, and it really had a lot to do with, I thought, Hurts was injured. I really did think that knee was a real thing. You had to throw that out. There clearly was no issue on the knee at all. I mean, he had 3 rushing touchdowns. I know 2 of them were tush pushes, but he had another rushing touchdown that was called back on a hold that really didn't affect the play at all. So he should have had 2 long rushing touchdowns. Knee did not look like an issue to me. So definitely went back and looked, break it all down. Do have the Eagles as a -1 favorite here. So I do understand the respect from the heavy money coming in right now in the Eagles, because you look at most books right now, it is Chiefs money. And I know in the Action app, it says it's right now, it's all Eagles money. So I know that could, depending on where you're at and what books you use, it could fluctuate. But, a couple of books I really respect right now, it looks like the early money is coming in on this Eagles team. So, it's pretty interesting that the professionals are taking this Eagles side. And it looks like when you're looking at the ticket count that the public is doing what me and Chad are probably going to end up doing here and end up on the Chiefs side, because it just feels like the safer side. And we understand the Eagles are the better team. And I'm looking forward to diving into all these numbers. But, the Eagles to pull this off, Chad, they are going to have to be historical, because we've seen Mahomes now. It feels like the book is out. Like, if you don't kill him, if you're not up double digits with 2 minutes to go with the ball, you're somehow going to lose that game. I don't know how he keeps doing it. Like, he just keeps finding these ways to win, and the calls go their way. Everything we always talk about. At the end of the day, they make the plays when they need to. Like, Spags makes the right blitz call when he needs to. And, this Eagles team, the more I dive into it, it is better than that 2017 team that Eagles won the Super Bowl with. And it's pretty easy to realize why. The Eagles had an all-pro quarterback, Carson Wentz, go down. They had their all-pro tackle, and Jason Peters, go down. Those are 2 major hits to their offense. And then defensively, they had a bunch of injuries as well. So this Eagles team is healthy. Like, this is a team that might be getting Brandon Graham back. So it's pretty wild when you dive into it. The fact that there are things the Eagles can do to beat this team. And I know people talked about, well, it's the Fangs defense, right? They match up well. It's the Fangs defense basically rushes 4. We know from the history that's how you beat Mahomes. The only time we've seen him lose in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady was when he got pressure rushing 4. That Tampa Bay front was just incredible, because we talked, you go back and listen to our podcast, we knew that game was going to be won in the trenches from that Tampa side, because their left and right tackle were out for the Chiefs. So when you look at this, that's the edge to me for the Eagles, right? If you're looking for an edge to take here, we know the secondary is incredible. Quinyon Mitchell in the playoffs so far, 12 targets. He's given up 4 catches for 21 yards, 2 interceptions, a pass breakup. That's a rookie, Quinyon Mitchell. That's incredible. Zach Braun, could easily win Defensive Player of the Year. He's had 26 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumbles recovered, 1 interception, 2 pass deflected. That's insane that he's been playing at that high level. So there are guys in the back end that could be a difference maker. My whole point was to get in that in Fang's defense, he just rushes the 4. And if you go back historically, he is 0 for 8 in his career against Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. He's never beat Mahomes. So it's like, okay, well, maybe he's never had the guys. he's had some pretty good defenses. It's just Mahomes is just Andy Reid and Mahomes are always one step ahead. So yeah, it's really interesting breaking this game down with those numbers where it's like the Eagles have the defenders, but Mahomes is gonna have a counter for it. Like we joked, Chad, that play, I can't get over it, that rushing touchdown
Yeah.
he had to win the game. Even the Bills defenders talk about it. They've never seen that on tape before. Guess where that play was on tape? The Bills. They stole it from the Bills offense and ran it against their defense. A Josh Allen play. They ran it with Patrick Mahomes and made Travis Kelce their lead blocker. So that was just my long-winded answer getting to that. I'm trying to find reasons to back this Eagles team because it does come down to defense, but it's tough to find the silver lining here because Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes always have a counter. I don't know if you feel the same way about that, Chad.
Dude, you're reading my mind, and it's so funny. Last year at this time, we were looking at the Chiefs as 2-point underdogs, I think, and struggling with betting the Chiefs because we clearly thought the Niners had a better roster. They were better top to bottom, right? But we went with the Chiefs because you don't want to bet against Patrick Mahomes because Patrick Mahomes is a dog. And I would emphasize the stats we always talk about on Patrick Mahomes are not just as a dog. They're as a favorite of 3 or less or as a dog. So this is in that window. But I was thinking about this morning. The comps are the same. I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes. I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo. This is a Hall of Fame trio who, when Andy Reid has had a vehicle, a vessel for his brilliance, like Patrick Mahomes, he has pretty much been unstoppable. When I'm thinking about this game, I'm in the office today, and I was just talking to the guy who runs our finance team, who happens to be a huge Buffalo Bills fan. And I said to him, we were talking about the game, obviously, from this past weekend. And I was like, look, at the end of the day, over the next 2 weeks, do I trust Andy Reid to game plan over Nick Sirianni and Kellen Moore? Yeah. Do I trust Steve Spagnuolo to game plan over Vic Fangio? Maybe it's even, but Spagnuolo has done it in the biggest games, in the biggest circumstances, not just in Super Bowls, but the way he disguised that blitz against Josh Allen on 4th and 5 was brilliant. Had it in his bag the whole game and held it until he needed it, right? Do I trust Patrick Mahomes over Jalen Hurts? Yes. So I get the roster stuff. At the end of the day, the people who need to make the decisions when they matter most, that I trust the most, it's going to be on the Chiefs.
That's fair. And I do want to give flowers, though. I mean, I don't want to make this all just love for this Chiefs side. Obviously, people know I'm a diehard Eagles fan. Tons of respect to this team. It's incredible how he's built here. And Chad just said it, on the same view. This is no doubt the best team of football. They have the best roster, and it all comes down to health, right? They've been able to stay healthy. And that is the key we talk all the time to getting to this point in the season. And, Jalen Hurts, again, I love Chad. Chad went from being one of my best men at my future wedding in 15 years to being not invited when he left Hurts out of his top 10 this past summer. I was so mad at Chad. I couldn't believe he did it. I felt betrayal because it just felt like the hate had gone too far with Hurts. And it carried over a little bit to the season because people wanted him to throw for more yards and score more touchdowns. And, we've seen some amazing stats these last 24 hours on Jalen Hurts. And I'm going to read off a couple just because I want to put people in perspective of just how high the bar is set for people sometimes. And it doesn't really make sense because it's like, it feels like you're watching a totally different game. So last 3 seasons, including playoffs, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, let's compare their stats. Patrick Mahomes has 48 wins, 10 losses. Pretty good. Jalen Hurts, 42 wins, 12 losses. Their total yards per game, Mahomes, 290. Pretty impressive. Jalen Hurts, 260. Okay. Mahomes, total touchdowns, 117, 43 turnovers. Jalen Hurts, 121 touchdowns, 39 turnovers. So he did better than that stat. Passer rating, Mahomes, 98.5. Passer rating, Hurts, 97.5. Basically identical stats across the board. One is viewed as the greatest quarterback ever. one is not a top 10 quarterback to Chad Millman. So that's what I mean. It's tough where I get the hate, but you just go through all these stats and it's incredible. Jalen Hurts is the 8th quarterback in NFL history to reach multiple Super Bowls in their first 5 seasons. He joins Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Ben Roethlisberger, Kurt Warner, Troy Aikman, John Elway. Okay, maybe Russell Wilson will make the Hall of Fame. Everyone else I just read on that list is a Hall of Famer. So it's like, I get the hate and the doubt, but this is the team and the quarterback that I do think could pull it off. But this is a long-winded way of getting. I don't think I'm going to put my money on it. I think I'm with Chad here, and just the fact that it's Mahomes and it's under 3 in this exact spot. And I was hoping Evan was going to be here for this little part because I saw a crazy stat that Mahomes was coming into the season. He was 11-0 in true dome games in his career. 11-0. He's now 15-0 through this whole season in dome.
We'll get
games.
Evan to. I mean, certainly Evan will be on Thursday, and we can have him follow up.
Yeah, because that just blew my mind. Where it's like I knew how dominant he was in indoor games, and how rare it was him to play it, right? Because no one in his division has home games. I know people count the Chargers. That's actually not considered a true home game. I know, as stupid as that sounds, but the Saints dome. This is as dome as it gets. It's the Superdome. So it's wild where if it's perfect, no wind, no bullshit. People are always like, well, how good he is in the cold. Me and Chad love that stat, right? 16-2 when it's below 40 degrees. The man might be 15-0 in dome games. It's just all of his numbers, all the stuff just breaks all the stuff, all the work I put into it. So yeah, I wanted to find reasons to back this Eagles team. I want to believe in Jalen Hurts. I want to believe in Saquon Barkley this run game after seeing Cooks just do whatever the hell he wanted against this Chiefs team last week. Like, this is a good matchup for the run game for this Eagles team. But like me and Chad know, and when it's the fourth quarter, even if the Eagles are up a touchdown, Mahomes is going to find a way. If you let him live long enough, he will find a way. So, yeah, this is a really tough spot to be in. I was really hoping we would come in here and it'd be 2.5, 3, this Eagles number. And to me, same with the Bills. I would have been comfortable taking the 3 on this dog. 1.5, I get the respect from the pros and what their models are telling them. I just can't do it once it's crossed that threshold with Mahomes. Once you're getting a great number on Mahomes at 1.5, and you can do what Chad's doing. There's no dishonor in taking the money line. Like, you want to play it as safe as possible. Because last week that game could have easily landed on 1. Like, I know Chad was just like me doing that crazy math where it's like, oh my God, they missed a 2-pointer. They're going to kick a field goal. This is going to land on 1. There's no dishonor in taking the money line there, but to me, I don't have fear in taking the 1.5 with Mahomes. We've just seen Super Bowl in its entire history. It's only had 1 game landed between 3. So we're talking a long history of the Super Bowl, and only 1 time in its history has it ever landed in between 3. So I'm good with taking the risk, taking the 1.5. I believe in this Chiefs team, believe in this number, and I know I hate to do it. I hate to see my team lose, and I know it's going to hurt, but you just have to trust Mahomes and Andy Reid and Spags, like you just said in this spot. They always find a way. I mean, it's been incredible, but you just got to throw the numbers out here, people. It's so tough to do, but to me, there's only one side to take, and it's the Chiefs.